YouTube and welcome to my channel. So I want to thank you guys for stopping on by. If this is the first time you're seeing the channel, well then welcome. But yes, the channel is going to be about food, fashion, and figures, all three of which are hobbies of mine. If you're interested in at least one of those three, if not all three, well then you found the right channel. But first and foremost, I want to thank you all for stopping by the channel. It does mean a lot. I'm excited to kind of bring you guys my own take. These are definitely things that I'm very passionate about, so I hope that my energy can kind of, you can feel that energy, so to speak. So with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to my first video, which is going to be a food review of one of my favorite restaurants here in the state of Maryland, which I live, called Maki. So sit back, relax, and let's get this started. Hello YouTube. For today's food review, me and my wife decided to stop by a local sushi restaurant called Maki, which serves ramen and sushi. So first up for the meal, we decided to go with the spicy shrimp tempura roll. It's a great deal and has about 6 pieces, and I think that the sushi is perfect for anyone who likes spicy sushi but isn't overly spicy where it's overwhelming. It has a nice bite to it and is not going to fall apart when you try to bite it. Overall, I highly recommend it, and for $8 it is definitely worth the price. Okay, for my meal, which I'm going to be talking about shortly, I got both a salad and miso soup along with the meal. Now, with the miso soup, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of miso soup, but it was pretty good. Nothing really crazy, nothing really that stood out. But the thing that did stand out between the two is going to be the salad. Now, the salad had a peanut sauce. Now, if you're not a big fan of peanut sauce, like for instance, my wife's not a big fan of peanut sauce, then it may not be for you. But for me, it had a really nice taste to it. The peanut sauce can sometimes be too peanutty or maybe not have enough. But overall, I've really felt that it complemented everything well. And it had a nice, good taste to it. The salad was okay. Could have been a little bit more fresher, but otherwise, it was a good start to the meal. For my wife's meal, she went with the spicy pork belly ramen with the volcano base. Now, when you're ordering here, what's actually really cool about the restaurant is the menu ordering system. So you scan a QR code like normal. However, instead of pulling up an actual menu, what they do is it takes you to the site where you can enter whatever you want to order. So you can choose everything that you want from the appetizer to the drinks. But what's cool about this spot in particular is how you order your ramen. So most places that you probably normally go to, they already have the ramen preset, right? Meaning that you have the protein, the base, the noodles. With this restaurant, it's a little bit different. So you can choose not only the base, but you can actually choose the protein too. So say you want to go with bulgogi, and maybe you don't want the base to be super spicy, you can choose a regular, like say miso base. So it's pretty customizable as to what you want. Now, my wife's feedback from her meal was that she really liked it. She liked the fact that the base wasn't overly spicy, but it did have a nice kick to it. And then some spots that you go to, maybe the noodles they might be too hard or may not be hard enough. Maybe they're overcooked. She said that the noodles had a nice bite and they were actually pretty thick. Overall, the one thing that she didn't really like that much was the fact that the protein is actually separate from the ramen itself. So unlike most spots where they'll put it inside the soup, they actually give it to you separately. And I don't really understand the reasoning behind that either. Because when you're thinking of ordering a ramen, you would kind of think that it's put together. And I don't know the kind of thought process behind that, but overall, she really did like it. And she liked the texture and the soup base was really good for her. So for my meal, I went with the pork tonkatsu curry. This was definitely one of my favorite parts of the meal. The curry was very, very good. I was pleasantly surprised. Had a very nice taste to it. It wasn't overly curry-ish, if that makes sense. I'm not sure, but it definitely had a nice taste, and it went well with both the rice in itself or by itself. The tonkatsu was really good too. Had a very good taste on the batter. It was nicely breaded, and then the cutlet itself was very thick. I've had other tonkatsu before where the size of the cutlet was super thin, and so this was definitely a nice surprise to me as to how thick it was. But my one complaint, well, two complaints. One complaint would be that the overall portion of the tonkatsu, they didn't give enough. There was a point where I was like, the meal could have definitely used some more. And then the meal also came with some cucumber and tomato, which honestly I couldn't care less about. Overall, I was definitely really satisfied by the meal, and all the flavor and textures really went well together. Overall, definitely recommend that for sure if you're looking to try some Japanese style curry. Okay, so to conclude, this is what we thought about the restaurant. So we both gave the sushi, the spicy shrimp tempura roll, a 5 out of 5. For my side of the miso soup and the salad, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 3 out of 5. It was okay. For my wife's ramen, the spicy pork belly ramen with the volcano base, she gave that one a 4.5 out of 5. Uh, the reason why it was scored that way is because again that the meat wasn't put into the ramen, wasn't really her preference. And then for my meal of the pork tonkatsu curry, I give it a 4 out of 5. Again, the portion of the tonkatsu is what ultimately kind of brought down the score. So overall, in total, I would say we give our score of the restaurant a 4 out of 5. It's definitely a place that we visit quite often, and we hope that you guys give it a chance too. We definitely think that you'll be highly pleased with it. One thing to note is that if you guys do decide to visit this restaurant, it is a smaller space, meaning that there aren't that many chairs and seats available. So oftentimes the waiting time can be up to an hour, if not more. So just something to consider. Normally it is pretty busy for lunch, for dinner time. So if you are going to go for dinner, I do recommend giving yourself enough time to make sure that if there is a wait time, that you'll still be able to have dinner. But aside from that, we definitely recommend it for sure.